Today we're going to talk about visceral fat, what it is, what it isn't. And the thing with visceral fat is I really want to talk about what drives why we end up getting visceral fat. Some of the answers are very obvious. If you sit around all day and don't do any exercise at all, you're going to get visceral fat. If your life is basically that of a couch potato, obvious, you're going to get visceral fat. By visceral fat, I mean the fat that's around our organs, so which is inside deep in our body. This is what leads to atherosclerosis, fatty liver, a lot of different metabolic conditions, shorter lifespan. We want to avoid visceral fat. So, first of all, let's find out if we have visceral fat. One way to find out if you have visceral fat is if you just try to pinch your stomach. See, I do it and I pretty much get skin like that. I get skin. But if you can pinch your stomach and you grab a nice handful of fat, not good. That means you very likely have visceral fat. I'm going to go to a few images here so you can see the difference, how you can know if you have visceral fat, and what's the difference between visceral fat and subcutaneous fat. Here we see an image of what would not be good if you grab your belly and you squeeze it and you get fat like this image shows like this, then that means that there's just a higher likelihood that you have some visceral fat, which would not be good. And here we can see the difference between the two. You see that on the outside there, you have what's called subcutaneous fat. This is not so bad. This is sort of a healthy type of fat. A lot of sumo wrestlers, because they do an incredible amount of activity. They're actually healthier than other people who look like them, in that they tend to be overweight and even obese. But they tend to live longer because they have more subcutaneous fat, which is different than the visceral fat. The visceral fat, someone may look skinnier, but the fat is inside, in the organs. It's below the stomach lining, the muscle layer of the stomach, and it's in and around the organs. This image here illustrates it even better. You can see that on the left there, the visceral fat that's around the organ, so more likely to have fatty liver, more likely to have heart disease, more likely to have one of the coronary, the main arteries inside of the heart that supplies blood to the heart muscle, might be clogged up. So visceral fat, not good. Subcutaneous fat, better. And the ideal is that we avoid the visceral fat. So let's talk now about the innate intelligence of the body. You know, when I was a chiropractor, the phrase innate intelligence came up a lot. And you can see here by this image, like the spinal cord, that is the first thing that forms when human life begins. But beyond just the spinal cord, innate intelligence also helps us adapt to our environment and helps us through generations and generations of our ancestors. One example of this are the Sherpa that live in mountainous regions near where Mount Everest is, and they often help climbers, Europeans and Americans, reach the summit. The Sherpa tend to be darker skinned because there's much more ultraviolet radiation up there from sunlight. They tend to be shorter because by being shorter and it's just less oxygen that needs to go to your arms and legs. Your bodies have adapted to living in high altitude with less oxygen. And here's another example of them carrying very heavy things. They're able to do it better than any other humans because they have adapted to that harsh environment. So this is a thing. The innate intelligence adapts your body. So what can we do? What exercises should we do so that we avoid visceral fat? Because our body's always adapting. So for example, if you go jogging, like this image shows, you jog a lot, what's the body going to do? You're not going to have fat in your arms and legs. What your body's going to do is think of it like your body is a biological engineer. Your body's going to store fat around its organs keep it in the center of gravity so that you can go further for longer periods of time. Because remember that fat gives us more energy. As we can see in this chart here, carbohydrates and protein only give us 4 calories per gram of energy. Fat gives us 9. So fat's more valuable. Fat's a more efficient fuel system. So if you're going to run, walk, swim, do long endurance type of athletic activity, biking included, then your body's going to want to store fat in and around the organs because it can fit there. It's going to be at the center of gravity and help you go further for longer. The body's going to retain fat to keep you going further. And so this is why, especially as a man over 40, of course, you don't want to be a couch potato. That's the worst, right? But running, jogging, swimming for long periods of time, biking, those long endurance sports, it's not the ideal. It's not the best thing we can do. Yes, it's better than being a couch potato, but the best thing we could do is resistance exercise. Build our muscles and not make our bodies adapt to go further in an endurance athletic activity for longer periods of time. Because if you go biking a lot, running a lot, you're just going to store the fat here. And it's dangerous. And there are a lot of famous joggers who have literally died of heart attacks. So this has been seen over and over again. So it's very confusing, I know, because, oh, jogging, I'm doing what's good. And our whole lives we're taught that jogging is a good thing. And it's good. It's better than being a couch potato. It's better than being nothing. And definitely, if you have a lot of weight to lose, like let's say you have 40 or more pounds to lose, then yes, jogging would be maybe a good place to start. Maybe walking, getting to your 10,000 steps a day. Sure, that's good to start. But once you get to that final 15, 20 pounds, which is actually the most important, because that's actually where you're really going to get rid of the visceral fat that's inside. That's where you need to switch. Stop the jogging, stop the walking, the biking, and just do resistance exercise, doing it properly, safely, not just with heavy weights, but using your own body weight and bands. Bands help you get to muscle failure. When you get into muscle failure, you're getting a cardiorespiratory workout, so it burns a lot of fat. That's the ideal. And these are the nuances, and this is where there's so much confusion. Oh, but I do a lot of cardio. It's not necessarily a good thing. And you may do cardio, but those final 10 or 15 pounds to get rid of this, it's hard because you're going about it the wrong way. Be smart about it. You have an innate intelligence. Your body adapts to what you do. So I hope this has reframed some of your thinking. Right now, I personally have a friend who's had to be put on dialysis. He's older, but he was jogging all his life. He's been diabetic, and I've always told him do more muscular, build some muscle, lift some weights, use your own body weight. But he just kept doing the jogging, thinking that jogging's the way to go, and so it's just a very acute reminder to me that, because of my friend, he just got on dialysis and he's probably not going to live much longer, but we got to do what's best for us. And what gets us from A to B may not be what's right to go from B to C. A to B might be if you need more than 40 pounds to lose, that first 20, jogging, walking, any cardio will be good. But then if you want to lose that final 10 or 15 pounds, cardio is now no longer good. It's hurting you more than helping you. I hope this helps. Thank you for watching. Subconscious Fat will be out Thursday with Mr. Skeptical, and next Monday again with another video. Bye.